If you want to build a business that clients trust, banks recognize, and regulators respect, registration is where it starts. In Zimbabwe, company registration is not just a formality. It is the legal birth of your business. The moment the certificate of incorporation is issued, your company becomes a separate legal entity, able to operate in its own name. That means it can sign contracts, hold property, open accounts, and stand on its own. Not on your personal name, on its own name. And that shift changes everything. For many first-time entrepreneurs, this is the point where the confusion begins. What does registration really achieve? Why should you bother if you are already trading? The answer is simple. Registration gives your business legal recognition. It tells the world that you are not just operating informally. You are building something real, something structured, something that can grow. One of the biggest advantages is credibility. Customers feel safer dealing with a registered company. Suppliers take you more seriously. Partners see that you are committed. And when your business has a proper legal identity, it becomes easier to move from small informal deals to bigger opportunities. Registration also helps with one of the most practical things any business needs, a company bank account. Banks usually want proof that your company is properly formed before they open the account. They often ask for incorporation documents, governance documents, address details, and supporting company records. So if you register correctly from the beginning, you save yourself unnecessary delays later. You avoid the back and forth. You avoid the frustration. Then there is access to tenders and business opportunities. Many institutions, including procurement platforms, expect you to be registered before you can bid. If you want to compete for larger contracts, work with formal organizations, or grow beyond word-of-mouth trading, registration becomes your entry ticket. It is not just paperwork. It is your business passport. And perhaps one of the most powerful benefits is limited liability. When a company is properly registered and run properly, the business risk is separated from your personal risk. In simple terms, shareholders are not automatically responsible for the company's debts just because they own shares. That protection matters. It gives entrepreneurs confidence to build, invest, and expand without putting everything personal on the line. Registration also opens the door to growth and investment. A properly structured company is easier to fund, easier to manage, and easier to pass on. It looks more organized because it is more organized. And in business, that discipline makes a difference. Now, to understand a company properly, you must know the difference between directors and shareholders. People often mix these up, but they are not the same role. A shareholder is an owner. A shareholder invests in the company and holds shares in it. That ownership gives voting rights and influence over major company decisions. A director, on the other hand, runs the company. Directors manage the day-to-day affairs, make operational decisions, and guide the business forward. So put simply, shareholders own, directors manage. Shareholders decide the big direction through formal ownership rights, while directors handle the running of the company. They are related, but they are not identical. This distinction matters because many business disputes start when roles are not clear. Someone thinks ownership means they should manage everything. Someone else thinks management means ownership. Then confusion grows. Sometimes tension follows. But when you separate the roles properly from the beginning, the business becomes easier to govern. It is also possible for one person to be both a director and a shareholder. In many small companies, that's exactly what happens. One person may invest, own shares, and also help manage the business. But even then, the roles should still be understood separately. Wearing two hats is common. Mixing the hats is dangerous. There is also an important compliance point many people overlook. A company must have proper leadership structure, and at least one director must ordinarily reside in Zimbabwe. That matters especially if your business has diaspora founders or foreign investors. Good structure is not about making things complicated. It is about making them valid, workable, and compliant. And while directors have power, they also have responsibility. They are expected to act in good faith and promote the success of the company for the benefit of its shareholders. That means thinking carefully about the long-term direction of the business, the people it employs, the way it treats suppliers and customers, and the reputation it builds. Being a director is not just a title, it is a duty. Another role that deserves attention is the company secretary. Many first-time registrants forget this part, but it matters. A company must have a secretary, ordinarily resident in Zimbabwe, who helps with records, notices, and minutes. In practice, the secretary helps keep the company organized and compliant. Good records are not a luxury. They are part of good governance. Now let us talk about what you actually need to register a company. First, you will need 5 proposed company names. This is helpful because not every name you love will be available. Having options gives you a better chance of getting a suitable and acceptable name without wasting time. Second, you will need the company address and email address. A company needs proper contact details because a registered business must be reachable. In Zimbabwe, a registered office at a physical address is also important for service of legal process. That is not a decorative requirement. It is a compliance requirement. Third, you need at least 2 directors, and for each director you should have full names, email addresses, dates of birth, and ID numbers. These details help identify the people legally responsible for guiding the company. Fourth, you need company secretary details. That includes the full name, email address, and physical address of the secretary. Remember, one of the directors may also act as the company secretary, which can be practical for smaller businesses. Fifth, you need the shareholding structure. This shows who owns what portion of the company. It helps define ownership clearly from the start, so there is no confusion later when profits, voting rights, or future changes come up. And sixth, you need the company objects. This is a brief description of what the company will do. For example, stationery, transport, construction, or consultancy. The purpose is to show the nature of your business and give clarity to stakeholders. It helps customers, banks, and partners understand your direction. These objects should be clear, but they should also make sense for your business vision. You do not want to overcomplicate them. You want them to reflect what the company is meant to do. When all these pieces come together, the company becomes more than an idea. It becomes a structured legal presence. It becomes something banks can assess, customers can trust, and opportunities can recognize. That is why registration matters. And if you're thinking about public procurement, this structure becomes even more important. Bidding platforms often ask for your certificate of incorporation, your company documents, director details, and address information. If your records are not in order, you can miss opportunities that should have been within reach. That is the real message here. Company registration is not just about compliance for its own sake. It is about readiness. It is about building a business that can grow without falling apart the moment it is tested. So if you are starting out, do not rush the process blindly. Prepare the right names. Prepare the right details. Understand who your directors are, who your shareholders are, and what your company is meant to do. Then register properly, keep proper records, and operate professionally. That is how you turn a business idea into a credible company. If you would like assistance with company registration, contact Todini Consultancy on +63 713 613 882. This is general educational information only and not personalized legal, tax, or professional advice. Please seek advice for your specific situation.